So is Goracle located out of Canada or Switzerland? And I'm curious, is how is regulation been affecting y'all? Like, working with different companies all around the world. And yeah, if you want to dive into that and let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm Canadian. Goracle is incorporated in Switzerland,
Okay.
right? So that's the differentiation. I'm from Ontario, which has very strict laws against, you can't use Binance, you can't use most of the exchanges, you can't really
Wow.
use a lot of things.
Oh, CZ
And
was in
so
Canada. Huh.
he is, yeah, I believe he has a Canadian citizenship. He went to Waterloo. I think that's the same as Vitalik. Vitalik is also Canadian, right?
Ah,
So,
yeah.
um, but they are very strict when it comes, especially in my province. So we're incorporated in Switzerland. Switzerland is also really strict, but they actually have a frame where if you follow the rules, you can do business. And also, as an Oracle, we do need to be on a higher standard. And so, incorporating in Switzerland is like, hey, we're going to follow some of the strictest blockchain laws in the world,
Mm,
right? And so we have to exclude other people from Ontario in token sale. You have to exclude Americans, and those are big markets. You have to exclude
yep.
Chinese people, right? And these are all big, big markets that we have to say no to. And you get bummed out. And you're like, okay, well, I'll get it off the exchange. I'll get it off the DEX or whatever. But essentially, uh, the Gora token is not like we're not saying, hey, hold the Gora token, you're going to make money.
Mm,
By it's going to inflate. We're saying, hey, get the Gora token. You can power the Goracle ecosystem and then earn the fees from the Goracle ecosystem. And that's kind of the purpose of the token. The other purpose of the token is also to, um, decide which direction it's going into. Right. So
yep.
if you want the direction of the protocol to go here or to go there, you just participate in a DAO votes. So really, it's a token that enables you to participate in the Oracle ecosystem.
And I know we had a few, like maybe 3 or 4 weeks back, we had Sean Lee, who was the previous CEO of the Algorand Foundation, on our channel. And he was actually talking about the reason why so many crypto companies are moving to Switzerland because they
Yep.
actually have legislation to where these crypto assets are actually being considered in a whole new, like, kind of realm, I guess you could say, of being called utilities, right? Instead
Utility
of
assets.
instead of being a security or a commodity, which I think is also probably pretty. It has to be beneficial for you guys looking down the road with all this. I mean, we did just see XRP won the lawsuit, so that's a good thing. But I'm sure Gary Gensler and the SEC are not done with their fight against crypto.
Even the win was a win, but I forgot how the exact phrase was. It wasn't really clear, but it wasn't also not clear. It's like they did a
Yeah.
weird little. I forgot how to.
Yeah, yeah. If you ask the SEC, they'll probably say we won, right? Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
they
It's like a
sold it
backyard
like a
school fight.
security. Yeah, yeah. They sold it like a security, but it's not a security. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very confusing. Okay, so well, thank you for breaking that down. So let's say the SEC does clear things up, then so y'all be full force, be able to work with whoever you want to work with.
Yeah, and ultimately, with our road to decentralization, we take that really seriously, right? And from day one, we always ask if the team steps away from this protocol, can this network continue? And that's really what we're aiming
Okay.
for, right? We've already put the foundation in place. So one thing in testnet we tried to do was we tried to shut down the node network and say, okay, let's stop, right? Let's just stop. And in fact, there's still a version of the testnet that's still running out there, even though we're not maintaining it or nothing. It's just like a random network that just broke off on its own and it's just running. And that's kind of the first test of decentralization is can we step away? So that's the first test. So the next step now is to put all the tokens, every single one, into various smart contracts that do what they say they're going to do.
Mm,
And that's how they get released, right? A lot of crypto companies, there's a treasury and they hold the token, and some people sign for it,
yep.
and it's completely up to the people who are in the organization. And so we want to, we're not there yet, but we want to create smart contracts for every bucket where we say, okay, this is for ecosystem grants. There's a smart contract that holds it, and every time there's a DAO vote that passes, it automatically gets released. Things like that, and that's kind of on our roadmap. And
Amazing.
when you look at like that, then it's fully decentralized. Then you don't really have to worry too much about regulation. Obviously, in the beginning you do, but the more decentralized you get, the more peer to peer it becomes. networks. And the more peer-to-peer it becomes, the more there's really nothing to legislate. You can't legislate against a network or a group of people who are working together. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So is the DAO live currently? I'm looking at the website and it looks like I'm able to suggest a proposal. If I had the Gora to do so, would I be able to suggest a proposal right now?
Yeah, you can suggest a
Oh, wow.
proposal, and in fact, right now it's free to suggest a proposal. But in testnet, a proposal that passed was pay a minimum fee to
Okay.
suggest a proposal, and I think they ended up making it like I think 1,000 Gora or something, and that got like I think 4,000 votes. So even though it's free now, it's going to change where now you have to stake, so you have to put some tokens up,
Right.
get a proposal, and then you get your tokens back later. But to prevent spam, that was one of the proposals somebody had put up and
Man,
passed.
I would say it seems like Goracle, y'all took the best of like Cosmos IBC mixed with the best of Algorand and just built some super dope infrastructure. Because I'm like, oh, this makes a lot of sense.
Literally, see, well, we're standing on the shoulders of giant. We learned
Yeah,
from Algorand. We learned from Chainlink. Like we talk about over the next. But we learned a lot from Chainlink. We learned a lot from Cosmos and various other blockchain spaces. And I think we're kind of the new kids on the block, right? We saw okay, and I know if Algorand went back, if Chainlink went back, if Ethereum went back, they would have done so many things differently.
yep,
We just had the luck of seeing, okay, this is where they could have done better, and this is where they did do great. So let's go ahead and implement those now. It's hard to change a system that's already in place on chain,
yeah.
but it's easy to
Right.
create one from scratch.
Just watched a clip from episode 63 of The Next Block with Abdul Osman, the CEO and founder of Goracle. Let us know down in the comments below what you thought of the episode. If you enjoyed the episode and you want to catch the entire thing, check out the video description down below for a link to the entire interview. To support the podcast further, also check out the video description down below for our Algorand donation wallet. This wallet can accept Algo and other Algorand standard assets. And last but not least, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know down below who you want to see next on the podcast. That's all for today, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks.